Seram Demurara Indremen Jason La Doi Jigdo Debrara Jingelo Om Ahum Bentra Mahanguru Bimala Jemi Sarwa Sindehum Om Ahum Bentra Dudjom Seram Demurara Indremen Jason La Doi Jigdo Debrara Jingelo Om Ahum Bentra Mahanguru Bimala Jemi Sarwa Sindehum
Tashi Delek, everyone. Welcome to the foundation of the Ngöndro class. Okay, we'll begin and then we have the opening prayers. We'll do the opening prayers, the Dudjom Tersar Ngöndro, and then the prayers requesting the teachings, the mandala offerings, and so forth. Okay, so if you don't have the text, I think I posted the link. Please download it and then join along. Okay, first of all, please bring in mind the precious motivation of the Bodhisattva, wishing to bring all motherly sentient beings, whose number pervade the vastness of space, that I want to bring them all to the state of perfect and complete Buddhahood. To do so, then I will listen to these profound teachings. Okay. now the 7-line prayers invoking the blessings of the Lama. Okay, now the prayer requesting the teachings begins with the 7 branch offering prayers. It's on page 59. Dudjom Tersar Ngöndro Düdjom Shulai Chancel Lo Chonson Dembe Shinjurolai Nime Yeke Chapsuchi Ngejura Yeke Namdru Be Dabe Cheba Shesu Ngöndro Chowo Chebege Neje Malu Shabarage Chochu Korosum Dabe Che Macha Chella Jeyer Dabe Tashi Delek Zobe Janchu Semge Do Deshe Wanchu Sembala Daba Sumge Lubelo Terra Drambe Gewanam Dune Janchu Chondo. On the mandala offering. Sajin Punchu Junjin Mendo Dram Re Rai She Ne De Gemba De Sangye Jin Do Me De Purwa Ye Drogun Nam Dai Shin Lai Che Barasho Idam Guru Radna Mandala Kam Niryata Yami. Now the stanza requesting the teachings. Semchen namke sambai dan lo ye jen rai jen da wara che chun tu mon te ba ye che ge koron lo koron du so. Okay, now I'll do some few prayers invoking the blessings of the lineage lamas. Tembalam Sangye Rinpoche, Chobalam Damche Rinpoche, Trimbalam Gede Rinpoche, Chamne Kuncho Sumla Chansel. Tapke Toje Shacha Reso Chonshenge Methodike Pongjomba Sergel Hembo Tabu Chibeko, Shacha Gebo. Shabla Chanselo, Balden Sone Chodreso Bale, Kenze Karange Sandro Charbeb, Ganchen Kedro Yonke Zojancho. Soge Dorje Drove Lama de Lama Dangombo Jetsen Jambe Yang La Chansen Lo Kange Lo Drimne Gender Netara Namda Rapse Jinne Denge Jejen Section Nige Toganrek Bamzen Ganta Sinben Zendrar Mare Mendom Donge Geta Druzon Gulan Bujen Darzen Yan La Drujan Yang Den Son Dro Darchen Dronen Mon Lon Leke Chandro Jetze Che Mare Monsan Dongan Yogo Jenne Jetze Redden Dene Dajen Sajo Darzen Yenden Lezo Gese Tue Go Chota Jodan Jene Jendre Dalo Monsen Jambe Yang La Rabdu Di Omarab. Kadan tenjen shung long tong pa yin long chen pong pen na wa chen do se. Mun chen rin chen yin ten do chen chen ma wang de shen men pan tan yen sham tan tan pen chong ke chang zho pen yin shi zhe ye shen dong chen la se wa de. Sang ye gung ye chen men pen ma zhong shing der chu pe chen chen long chen je gang ge yang se chen len nor bon la. Sewa dem so chen men chen chen long cho ke lama nam ke gan sam to wang gun long chen cho men shen den je be be ne jor kun dan zo chen. Sang ge don chen sham la sewa de o men che ge yin ge pa rang do de som sang je kun ge ngo ne rang sem che kung un som den ze. Zawe la me sham la sewa de ne lo dong pa ke waran chen je lo. Lek para shen pam pom pa ken do son nam ka dan nyam be sem chen tham chen nam ken den ge de wan lan nam ma che ba. Yang dan para zong pe jang chu rinpo che chin ne jang to para ja de ye che do che zam mo de ne tsul jin do sen de. Ten nyam sur len para gi wo nyam pa sam pa ja che wa jang chu sim ken kun long dang tham ja che wa song nga ki kun long de. Kulon namba ni sel tabde sembara shu gan sembara jave chegerimba ni. So please bring in mind the precious motivation of the Bodhisattva. We say the vast aspiration of the Bodhisattva. And the profound skillful method of secret tantra as mentioned in the sutras and the tantras, how to cultivate what needs to be cultivated, what needs to be abandoned, all of those, bringing in mind clearly. Please listen to the teachings. The subject of our teaching is the preliminary practice according to the Dudjom Tersar tradition. So, last class we discussed on how to first situate ourselves on a cushion and then to sit in the meditative posture by using the 7 Vairochana posture. And then to expel, when we begin the meditation, first we need to expel the stale energy from our body. So we learned the 9 round breathings. Remember that and then please review that. And so the first session when we are doing that, we need to do the cleansing of the breath like that. And we need to, as we do the breathing, we need to remember the channels and all of those characteristics and how we breathe in and how we expel the breath, all of those. So today we are on to chapter 2, the outer Ngöndro, the 4 contemplations which turn the mind. So Ngöndro means preliminaries. It is because we are now going to undertake the Dharma path or the teachings into our practice, into our life. Then there comes this main phase practice. In order for us to prepare for that one, then there is what is called as the preliminaries or the preparatory. So this is the preliminaries of the Ngöndro. And then Ngöndro has outer Ngöndro, inner Ngöndro, and called the extraordinary Ngöndro or extraordinary part of the Ngöndro. So like that, this one here we are going to first go through the outer Ngöndro. These are the 4 contemplations. The Ngöndro text has 2 sections, the outer Ngöndro and the inner Ngöndro. The outer Ngöndro consists of the 4 contemplations which turn the mind. Right now, our mind is kind of engaged in samsaric goals, samsaric desires, samsaric agenda and so forth like that. So for us to tread or enter into the path of Dharma, then we need to actually make up our mind. So it's called the 4 contemplations. I usually say like it's like preparing the ground for plantation. So if there is any weed or any kind of rocks or so in the soil, then it will hinder the growth of whatever we are trying to plant. So in order for us to engage in Dharma, first we need to weed out, we need to prepare that ground. So these 4 contemplations are similar to that one. So in our Ngöndro text, it says Namo Lume Tengi Gombo Lama Ken. So the text begins with this line, Namo Lume Tengi Gombo Lama Ken. And the translation says, Homage, Wisdom Lama, my eternal, infallible, and true protector, be aware of me. Namo is a Sanskrit word for homage. Then here it says, Lume Tengi Gombo Lama Ken. It's infallible, constant protector. We take our Lama as the unfailing, the undeceiving protector. He says, recite this line at the beginning of any meditation session as a preparation for receiving the blessings. Visualize Guru Rinpoche appearing in the sky in front of you. Generate strong faith and devotion, recognizing his essence to be the same as your root gurus. The power of your devotion invokes Guru Rinpoche's wisdom mind stream. Descending through the crown of your head, he dissolves into you and empowers you with the blessing of primordial wisdom and the realization of liberation. Your own body spontaneously transforms into a Vajra body of rainbow light. Your speech becomes Vajra speech, and your ordinary mind transforms into pure Vajra mind. In this way, your ordinary 3 doors or gateways, we say 3 doors, are body, speech, and mind. Gateways of experience are blessed by Guru Rinpoche's 3 Vajras, his indestructible Vajra body, which is the same as the Buddha's body, beyond the state of birth and death. His Vajra speech, completely pure, awakened wisdom speech, and his all-pervasive wisdom awareness, Vajra mind. This first stage prepares you for a meditation session by transforming you into a pure vessel for receiving the blessings of the practice. Here Lama Dudjom Rinpoche puts a very succinct, precise, very in few words, but with compact meaning. It is the words that comes from an experienced, realized master. So we don't need to elaborate these. These are very, very beautiful and full of blessings. So this is how we open our practice of meditation in this way. We'll learn more about Guru, the Guru phenomena, the Guru devotion, and so forth. It's unlike a blind faith or taking the Guru just in some kind of consideration. Unlike that one, this is the path of the practice of Guru. We say Guru Yoga. The main practice that we are heading toward is the Guru Yoga. So, and this is pretty much an introduction or the beginning of understanding the Guru. Guru Rinpoche again appears in the sky in front of you as a witness while you recite and contemplate deeply the next 4 lines of the text, the 4 contemplations which turn the mind. Thorough examination and reflection upon these 4 thoughts can, without doubt, completely turn your mind towards the Dharma. So these 4 thoughts, again, it's coming. So if we contemplate, if we practice well and properly, then it can turn our mind, because these 4 thoughts are actually the antidotes to our minds clinging to this samsaric or this worldly habit. So we'll talk more about that. It's going to come. Pray that your practice will be of the highest quality, and that Guru Rinpoche will give you the blessings and power to deepen your Dharma practice. Then thoroughly examine and reflect upon each thought. At the end of your session, mix your mind with Guru Rinpoche's mind by realizing there is no separation between them, and remain in that state. Now contemplate the first thought, the reflection on the rarity of a human birth. In the text, in our Ngöndro text, the line reads, Daljordini Shindu Neparka. The freedoms and endowments of this precious human birth are extremely difficult to find. In considering the preciousness of a human birth, realize how difficult it is to actually obtain a human birth. Recognize how lucky you are to have been born in a civilized country where the Buddha's teaching is being taught. Understand your good fortune is being born as a human, rather than in the 3 lower realms where the experience of suffering is unbearably intense. Born with all your faculties, senses, and mental alertness intact. In an eon where the Buddha taught, where Dharma exists and is flourishing, you have had the opportunity to make connection with the teachings. How wonderful that you have the extraordinary opportunity to do something with this precious body. Your human birth is the result of the ripening of past positive karma. Yet who knows when the opportunity to meet with and practice Dharma will occur again. It is said that the meeting Dharma in this lifetime is more rare than the chance of blind tortoise or turtle has rising to the surface every 100 years, or putting his head through a single wooden yoke, floating in the vast surface of the ocean. Once born, normal human beings are as common as rocks. In comparison, some who practice Dharma is like a pure diamond. So anyway, when we talk about freedom and endowments, there are freedom in contrast to the 8 different kinds of states that does not permit practicing Dharma. It is mentioned that hell realm, for example, being born in the hell realm, we would be tormented by heat and cold, that there wouldn't be time for us to practice Dharma. We're tormented by that suffering, hell. And if we were to be born in the hungry ghost realm, then we would be tormented by hunger and thirst, that there would be no time for us to practice Dharma there. And if we were to be born as an animal, stupidity, and being a beast of burden, or, how would you say, what's the word, misused, abused, like animals being abused, and those kind of sufferings are there. Suffering of the mightier ones, bullying the timid ones, the mightier ones eating the smaller ones, and so forth. Those kind of sufferings are there. So this kind of suffering would not let one practice Dharma. And if you were to be born in a barbaric country where they have never heard the words of the teachings of the Buddha, would never meet the Dharma. Excuse me. So barbaric country, a barbaric land. If we were to be born there, then we would never be able to practice Dharma. We would never free to be practicing Dharma. And if we were to be wandering in the long-living God realm, they have luxury, all of those, they would be distracted, they'll never think of practicing Dharma, so they aren't free to practice Dharma. And someone with wrong view, someone constantly having or carrying wrong view, that kind of person would never be free to practice Dharma. So Nalo. And if you were to be born during the time when the Buddha does not appear, we would not be free to practice Dharma. So these are the 8 unfree states. So in contrast to those 8 states, we weren't born in any of those 8 states, now we are free. So therefore, these are called the 8 freedoms. And then there are the 10 endowments. 10 endowments, 5 there are dependent on us, 5 that are dependent on others, or meaning 5 that are independent, 5 there are those are dependent. To be born as a human being, to be born with all the faculties and senses intact, to be born in the central land where the Dharma is still prevailing, Dharma is still going on, and not having engaged in any kind of severe negative actions, lethamalokya, like something that we have gone against grave karma, and then having fervent faith and devotion toward Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So these 5 are what are called the independent and the 5 endowments that are based on our own being. And 5 that are dependent on others. The Buddha has to come, Buddha has to appear in this world, the Buddha has to teach the Dharma. Third, the Buddha Dharma has to prevail or still has to exist. Still the Dharma practice is being practiced. And then there are followers following the Dharma teachings. And then 5th is someone who is practicing Dharma that kind of takes us or embraces us, takes us as their students. So those are the 5 dependent endowments or advantages. So comparing all those 8 freedoms and 10 endowments, they are called the 18 freedoms and endowments. When our life possesses all of these characteristics, then that life is called precious human birth. And that precious human birth is a result that has a reason from a lot of merit from our past lifetime. It hasn't just come out of the blue. So we had made vast aspirations, we had accumulated vast merits in our past, we had prayed and made inconceivable prayers and aspiration prayers. So that gave rise to this precious human birth. So therefore we need to contemplate that. And it's not like, if you were to compare this life to other people who who waste their life and who just kind of live a life that causes suffering to others and toward themselves, that kind of life is called just a wasteful life. People who don't appreciate life, and some even take their own lives. Those are called, wasteful life. But when we consider this fortunate life, that if we were to utilize it in search of the realizing the truth, then how precious it is. So therefore, when we say precious human birth, precious human life, it is in this context that we are saying this life is precious. So in comparison, there is first the cause, second there is an example, the third is that there is a numerical comparison. The cause, as I mentioned, is because that we had accumulated vast, inconceivable merit in our past that gave rise to this precious human birth. We practiced a lot of virtue in our past, made a lot of dedications, and that caused this precious human birth. So that's the cause. And then there is an example. This precious human birth is very rare. It isn't like I mentioned, that it isn't like comparing to an ordinary or wasteful life. This precious human life, in consideration of these 8 freedoms and 10 advantages, is very rare. There is an example given in the sutras by the Buddha, saying there's a blind turtle living down in the depths of the ocean, trying to rise to the surface, but the pounding waves always keeps the turtle way beneath the ocean. And then somehow the turtle kind of rises up every 100 years to the surface of the ocean. And on the surface of the ocean there is a wooden yoke, like a wooden, I'm just saying, like a log that has a hole. And then the wooden yoke doesn't sit still or stay still because it's been tossed by the waves, constantly moving. And the blind turtle doesn't have the vision to see the yoke. But somehow, it's the rarest of rarest chance that the neck of the turtle kind of catches onto the hole of the yoke, and then the turtle is kind of swept or taken to the shore. So that example, the Buddha says, is even it's possible, whereas the attainment of fortunate human birth is even more rare than this example. So second, that's the example. So, and then in this example, there are so many different levels of the teaching. So, blind turtle symbolizes us beings who don't have the clue, who don't have the wisdom how to free ourselves from samsara. We have been wandering in cyclic existence for countless lifetimes, and we don't have the vision to free ourselves from samsara. Devoid of the vision of what to practice and what to abandon. So that blind indicates that clueless being wandering in cyclic existence. The pounding waves, constantly pounding down, it's the samsaric condition. The samsaric condition constantly presses beings that they can never rise to the surface. The wooden yoke symbolizes Dharma. Dharma, the teachings of the Buddha, has no prejudice, unbiased. It's unbiased. It's non-judgmental. Whoever comes, whoever meets their neck into this will be taken ashore. But the wooden yoke is there constantly, but whether we will meet the wooden yoke or not, the chances is so rare. And the conditions of meeting the wooden yoke is very, very rare. The waves and so forth tossing the wooden yoke and never keeping it still on the surface. So there are many elements of this example anyway. So if you aspire to learn more about this, you can read in the words of my perfect teacher and so forth like that. And then the third is the numeric comparison. Life in the hell realm. There's so many beings in the hell realm. Their numbers, if you were to compare with the hungry ghost, it's like the nighttime star and daytime star. So the hell beings are like stars during the night. The hungry ghosts are like stars during the day. And then if you were to compare animal beings or beings within the realm of animal realms, and to those beings in the hungry ghost realm, it's exactly like that. Hungry ghosts are like stars during the night, and the numbers of animals are like stars during the day. And then animal versus human beings. And animals are like, the numbers of animals are like the stars during the night. And human beings are just like the stars during the day. And then among human beings, those who are precious human, these 18 characteristics, that 8 freedoms and 10 endowments, it's very, very rare. Ordinary human beings are countless. Ordinary human beings, we can say, they're like stars during the night, and fortunate human birth is like star during the day. So these are the numerical comparison. There are also other ways, like hell beings are like sands in the Ganges. Hungry ghosts are like dregs in the alcohol pot, those kind of thing. And so further on, then human beings are just like dirt caught in between our fingernails, like that. So meaning to say that fortunate human birth is very, very rare and very few in numbers. So the reason why we contemplate this rare and precious human birth is so that we don't waste our life. Otherwise, we just, we lack inspiration, or we are distracted in something that doesn't have a true or worthy essence. We are distracted in just this samsaric life, just to fulfill our selfish goal, our selfish dreams and desire. That's all. And how many lifetimes have we lived in this way? Countless. And if we were to think clearly that if we use this life, we could achieve the essence of realizing the nature of phenomena, realizing the truth. So therefore, human life is very, very precious. In the teachings it is mentioned, if we were to pile the corpse, the meat or the flesh that we had acquired in all the series of lifetimes from timeless past, it would be even greater than the surface of this earth. if we were to collect all the blood that we had in the lives that we had taken from all those lives from timeless past, it would be as vast as the ocean. So we lived that kind of life, but we never aspired to free ourselves from samsara. If we were to use this single life, this very life, the life that we have now, then it would be worthy, it would be meaningful. So that's why it's important to contemplate. So if we contemplate on precious human birth, then it is an antidote toward wasting this life in an ordinary way. Whatever kind of goal that we might have, it's all limited. It's very narrow. But if we were to think of achieving the essence of realizing the truth, then that is a great cause. And on top of that one, further on we bring the aspiration that we want to awaken all motherly sentient beings and so forth. So those are yet to come anyway. Here is the last line that we read. Lama Tachan says, once born, normal human beings are as common as rocks. In comparison, someone who practices Dharma is like a pure diamond. So pure diamond versus ordinary rocks. Yeah. Knowing this, knowing how precious this life is, pray for Guru Rinpoche's blessings to appreciate the meaning of a precious human birth. Thinking about your incredible fortune, pray for the power to extract some essence from your life. Vowing to do something of lasting benefit to establishing Dharma in this lifetime. First contemplate deeply, then mix your mind with his mind and remain in the state of meditative samadhi. So there are sessions that we do when we do this. As I told you that these preliminaries we are required to do 100,000 times. The refuge that we recite for 100,000 times, the Bodhicitta, the mandala offerings, the 100 syllable mantras, and the prostrations like that. So to do that, first we need to, like when we have a meditation session, say we are picking a 2-hour session. So the first 1/3 we read texts and listen to our teachers' teachings and so forth for 1/3 of that meditation session. And then the next 1/3 we contemplate, we ponder, we think of on that one, and we investigate. We don't take things lightly. We cannot just kind of take it for granted. We need to speculate those. And then we contemplate on that one. And then the last 1/3 of our meditation session, then we recite the refuge prayers, the Bodhisattva, the cultivation of the Bodhisattva or the Bodhicitta, like that. So those are the ways to do that. And at the end, then invoking the Guru's blessings, saying that may your blessings trigger my awareness that I recognize that this human birth is truly precious. Like that, we supplicate in that way. And finally, we merge our mind inseparably with the wisdom mind of the Guru, like that, and then rest in meditative equipoise. So that pretty much covers the first contemplation. So remember, contemplating on precious human birth. These words come again and again, the four thoughts that turn our minds toward Dharma. Contemplation of the four thoughts we need to remember. First is understanding how precious this human birth is. And when we truly understand how precious it is, then we don't waste this life in an ordinary manner. So that's why I mentioned it's like weeding the garden, preparing the garden, making the field ready for cultivation. So the next contemplation, the next thought is now contemplate the second thought, the reflection on impermanence. So the next line in the prayer reads, in the text, the line reads, all sentient existence is conditioned to impermanence and death. Everything that is born is subject to death. If it is born, it will die. So, contemplating impermanence and death intensifies the motivation to practicing Dharma. Truly understanding impermanence means recognizing both the nature of change inherent in all phenomena and the extraordinary opportunity to train your mind towards liberation. Reflecting, you begin to see that you must not waste precious time. As soon as you are born, it's guaranteed that you will eventually die. This inevitable death will deprive you of any further opportunity to practice. Begin to realize clearly that instead of putting off practice until some future time, you must begin right now to extract some meaningful essence from your human birth. The point of understanding impermanence is not to feel sad about it, but to use it as an incentive to overcome laziness. So we're talking about achieving fortunate human birth, but it's fragile. It's subject to perishing any moment. So therefore we need to practice. These two contemplations are the antidotes to our distraction and laziness, and then the narrow sight, the narrow vision of this worldly agenda and so forth. So this takes care of all our worldly attachment, our worldly desire and so forth. So therefore it is very important for us to contemplate in this way. The nature of samsara, cyclic existence, is like a dance which is continually moving and changing. On the inner level, the state of our mind is in a state of constant flux. Sometimes we are happy, but that never lasts. Then we are sad, but that doesn't last either. Then we become angry, and that changes too. On the outer level, samsara is a reflection of our own inner deluded mind, which never stays the same. Clearly, the outer level is also in a continual process of change. In relation to time, impermanence is reflected in the 4 seasons of the year. Summer changes to autumn, autumn changes to winter, winter changes to spring, and spring again changes to summer. We may feel the universe is unchanging by virtue of its vastness, but it too is impermanent. The outer universe changes 4 times within each eon. First there is only emptiness, and from this emptiness the universe is born. Then it exists, and finally it dissolves back into emptiness. The whole process is called 1 eon. So the universe that we think, there is a point where it kind of remains empty. And then there is a point, or there's a time when all of this starts to pile together or starts to build up. Then it remains for a while, and then there is this what is called as disintegration or falling apart. So for K, it's like, how it starts. Chak is like how it starts to pile up or build up, and then it remains. Second is remains, and then the third is how it disintegrates. Jik. And then Tong is it remains empty. So universe too goes through these 4 phases like that. It's not like thinking that the universe is permanently there. In the Buddhist metaphysics, this is taken into consideration. So from emptiness it starts to pile up, then remains, abides for a while, then it disintegrates or it falls apart, and then remains in emptiness. So these 4 are called one big eon. One big eon. It's like there's numbers of years that are calculated, but in totality it's called one eon. One whole circle of life. It's like one eon, like that. But that's like the lengthy of time that it is calculated in that way. So the universe, in between there are how the universe is being destroyed by water, fire, and wind and so forth. So elemental destructions like that. So there's a scoop going up and down like that. But a series of going up and down like that, at one point it just completely becomes empty. So that cycle is called an eon. Realize then that time does not stop even for an instant, that our death is certain, and that every being born is sure to die. Almost every human being alive right now will be dead within 100 years. No one will survive much longer than that. Having no idea when death will come, we become completely involved and lost in our hopes and fears about the future, without realizing that however much and no matter what we accumulate in this life, eventually it will be exhausted. Whatever we build will sooner or later fall down. Nothing will last forever, not even this earth or the universe. The very nature of gathering is separation. The very nature of life is death. Everything which we perceive as solid, real, and permanent is actually impermanent and illusory in its very existence. Death is unpredictable and can occur at any moment. When you go to sleep tonight, you do not really know if you'll wake up in this life or the next. Truly comprehending and actualizing an understanding of impermanence will dispel all laziness and hesitation to practice. So pray to Guru Rinpoche from your heart. Pray for the blessings to realize nature of impermanence. Contemplate this point, and at the end of the session, rest and meditate on open space. So like that, I think again, if you want to learn more, then listen to the teachings of the Buddha on impermanence, or read usually the most elaborate commentary on the preliminary practice is the words of my perfect teacher. So if you wish to read, you can read on that one. So then you can understand. If you have questions, you can ask, and then you need to speculate, you need to examine thoroughly until you gain the confidence. Then once you know the truth, then trust will naturally arise. you will believe naturally. It's not like forced kind of belief and so. So once we know the truth, then naturally that belief, that trusting belief, that belief that is you have conviction, it will naturally arise in you. So therefore think in this way and then contemplate. So again, when you're contemplating, you use this method of dividing your session into 3. The first 1/3 in reading thoroughly and doing your research and finding the answers and all of those, refutation and arguments and all of those. And then on the second 1/3 of your meditation session, then you contemplate. You bring discerning awareness. You need to ponder. You need to chew on those words that you read, and then this is called contemplation. And then the last 1/3 of your session, then again you recite the refuge prayer, having generated the conviction, and then praying to Guru Rinpoche that his blessings triggers our realization that this impermanence, that everything is impermanence, this life that is so precious is impermanent, like that. And finally, merging your mind inseparably with the wisdom mind of the Lama, rest in meditative equipoise. Okay, so we'll just stop here for tonight. 2 thoughts. Remember, contemplation on fortunate human birth. Second, contemplation on impermanence of life. Impermanence of life is impermanence of everything. Impermanence, contemplating, looking at the universe, how the universe has gone through all these changes. Contemplating on beings who came, those great beings who came and walked on this earth. They're not here today. They transcended, like that. And then contemplating on our relatives and friends and those we heard, they lived for a while and then now they're gone. And then contemplating on how things change in the seasons. Like when the kid that was, or the baby that was born a few years ago is now a toddler or a young boy or an adult, those kind of things. Those who were old, now they are gone, they are dead, they have transcended, they have gone beyond this life. Like that. And then, yes. So as Lama Dudjom Rinpoche and the teachings mentions that when we contemplate, it brings, kind of instills an awareness in you that we need to hurry. We need to make some progress as quickly as possible and not to squander and waste this life, waste this time. That's the purpose. Okay, practice in that way, and then if you have any questions, you can email us. And particularly this preliminary foundation class, I didn't want to stream online, but we are recording this so that some students, when they skip class, that they can listen to it at a later time. We just made this, so it's not just for easy listening. It is Dharma, and we need to be serious about Dharma. It's not like listening to some kind of speech or lectures. This is, if we regard Dharma as precious, then there will be blessing. If you think that this is just an ordinary talk, there's not much use in it, listening to in that way. So please think in this way and then practice. Okay, now we'll do the dedication. Dedication prayer is on page 62. Sonam di tamje zigbani tomne nebe janam pamje shin kega nachi balong chumba ye sebe sole rowa rasho jambe pao jidara kemba dan kundu zambo deyang de jint. Dedan gunge jeso daglob chen gewa dedan tamje rabdo ngon desum shekbe gewa tamje ke. Ngowa gangla chodo ngakba de dagi gewe zawa de genjang. Sangbo che ramdo ngora ge jangshu semcho rimbo che ma ke panam ke jurshi. Ke ba nyamba me badan gongne gondo pewara cho jangshu semdan midrilshi. Jangshu chella shewa dan sangye namki yongzong shin de ke le nam pambra. Changshu semba namge ne roden thula gondro sho gombo ye ne gangongba. Semjen namla de jurasho, semjen tamje de dan den juraching, enro tamjen tanto tongbarasho. Changshu semba gandak sarjokba, de dan kunge melam dro barasho. Gewa de ye gewa kun sonnam yeshe tsozoshi. Sonnam yeshe le jungwe damba kunne tobarasho. Rinchen getso deye drowa kun tatu dambe chedamir drishin rangshin dene zoba tarshin. Chenga drobe jigdenze parasho pende junne temba peljurche terab kundu chella chejurche. Gelkam kundu trashi gejurche drogun chamche sange to parasho. Lama gokam zangwara selwa de chondu kuse ringwara selwa de. Chinle darjin ge parasewa de lama dan jawa me parjin je lo. Kandu ke pe ke wa tamje du tore yenten dunden to parash. Ke ma ta tu che dan che jurchi sujin rube rangwan ye parash. Diriyan lama damba ne je jin nendan sendu che la che parash. Che do ne ningbo den rub de tse de simpe chanso galwarash. Separadambe cherra tenje chin shempen rubla chongan me parash. Lapchen shenden chore me bayi. Tamje chamje sange to parasho chesur denyan ninde kilkorachin. Choke thadru kundu rajur de lodre bemo rabdu gejechin. Sange temba darjinge parasho lungre tebe mishi drible de menga sambe te tsumbunas. Gomjo yeke nelo jejinse sherab sumge nangwa gen parasho.
Kenla chusumay rinloy che zame sasumay chapare jogi chusumay nawanam Nandra riksum langa che gu ngang kuda ye she ror para chamlempe. Sapsa nal jor chembe nyamlen lai erme tuki tigle ro chiksho. Kewa kuntu yangda lama dan dralme cheke pella longche che. Sadan lamge yenten rabzo den palden lame gofa nyurto sho. Om Ahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Ahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Ahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi benza guru pema sende Om benza guru pema te dengza benzar samayanza sende pala Om benza guru pema te dengza benzar samayanza sende pala Om benza guru pema te dengza benzar samayanza sende pala hum a. Okay, so everyone stay well, take good care, and we'll see you soon. Okay, for the next class. The next class is the Sagadawa full moon. It's the full moon day, which is very, very auspicious and sacred. Okay, see you soon. Bye bye.